Came in with two questions, but I'm going to reverse the order because of the way things are going today. I own a lot of businesses. We've talked about a lot of my businesses in the past, and one of them, I owned the exclusive merchandising sales rights for Minecraft, World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, Walking Dead, all of the biggest gaming and geek properties in the world. And last year, I lost the contracts, or I was laughing at the word loss. Non-physical came and took them. No. And I made a really strong decision because that was a really large income stream for me, that I was going to be happy like my life depended on it. Because if I went there, I could see how it would go badly really quickly. So I kept saying, this has to be working out well for me. And as I was flying around the country doing a bunch of other business stuff, it was the first time that I just deliberately chose that no matter what the outside circumstances were, I was going to really, really be happy, like legitimately, for real. And then I ended up going to Boulder for 4 days, and I called it magic time, like as if I had a wand, and the most amazing, everything to the finest, most tiniest detail was beyond perfection. And I could really, really just tell that I could create anything. And then, of course, but I went back to life and started to worry a little bit, and I wanted to know how to more sustainably have magic time like that. Like I've been having it for the last couple of days, and it's so nice, and I want to know how to sustain that.
Well, you've already told us in the story, in your explanation of what happened, but we can tell you precisely what happened. Before you went to Boulder and had those 4 days of what you called magic time, you got into the receptive mode. You decided, I'm going to be happy legitimately, no matter what. I'm going to do that. So you were out ahead of it. And by that we mean you were in the receptive mode so that then you could realize the magic that was being presented to you. What most are doing, and everyone does it some of the time, is reacting. You said, then I went back to life. When you go back to what you call my manifested life, you're not out ahead of it. You're reacting to what's happening. And when you're reacting to what's happening, you're usually in the receptive mode of unwanted things rather than in the receptive mode of all that clarity from all that knowing that's in your vortex. Doesn't that make perfect sense to you? That is the only difference in what happens. You just got to get out there ahead of it, which means just decide on a more regular basis that you're going to feel good, that that's all that really matters. And as you retrace your steps back through those experiences and through that decision that you made, I'm just going to be happy, and you realize the deliberateness with which you were focusing your mind in those days and the accomplishment of this receptive mode that you did accomplish, then doesn't that make perfect sense? And doesn't only that make perfect sense? Esther's really been thinking a lot about this because she knows, she's been hearing us for years, as you have, that your thoughts are turning to things. You get what you think about. And so there is the receptive mode that when you are there, you feel wonderful, you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And when those thoughts turn to things, the things along the way, the encounters, the experiences, the ideas that hatch, all the things that come from that feel so, so good. But when you're feeling vulnerable or the victim or like you've been unfairly treated or you're angry, then those thoughts are turning to things too. And it is normal to have some of all of it. But the best thing that thrills us, that you know more than anybody that we ever talk to, you know the difference between this and this. And now you just told us you know how to deliberately get there. Yeah.
Thank you. So I have one more quick question. I have two dogs, Rico and Lola, like the Copacabana. And that song is a love triangle, and the third character in the song is Tony. So I go to the dog park every day. They're big, very active dogs. And I had this running joke with my dog park friends that I'd need to meet a guy with a dog named Tony. I think we all know where this is going. So I'm at the dog park in Sedona, and this guy comes in with a dog named Tony, and he's my age, and he's retired, and he's traveling all over the country, and he's exceedingly wealthy. And so we kind of start dating a little bit, to the point where like my car broke down, and he's like, well, I could just buy a new one. And I drive a G-Wagon, which is a $150,000 car, and it was like, I can just, like, I'll get you a cup of coffee. But there were deal breakers, and I didn't end up dating him. But during that time, I could just cut him loose. During the time when we were seeing each other, I released everything about money, because as he was offering me these really extraordinary, like we could just travel around the world, and I thought, I can do that for me. And I have a lot of money flowing in and out of my experience all of the time, but I realized in that moment that I've been having this really shortage perception, even in the midst of what wouldn't be perceived as shortage. And I want to know how to best utilize that experience that I just had going forward, because there's a lot in it for me. But I wanted to talk to you about it the second it happened.
Well, the most significant thing that stands out in a very strong way about this is that someone asked the question the other day, is my inner being and what it knows actually preventing me from moving forward into things that are not beneficial for me? And the answer to that is unequivocally no. Your inner being is not controlling anything like that. But your vortex contains so many intentions, and they all meld together perfectly. So it's logical that in your looking for something related to a Tony, that would be part of that powerful attraction. And in your desire to witness prosperity, the kind of prosperity that you've been talking about, the kind of prosperity that is important to you, that was a receptive mode experience because it brought to you a realization, first of all, of being up close to someone who is really living the financial, prosperous life that is in your vortex that you are on your way to. And also the powerful realization that you're already on your way to it. In other words, you didn't attract him as the means to what you want. That's already well in place. And you said that to us just now. That was your realization. That was your realization. That was the peace. In other words, every person who comes into your experience, oh, this is really what you want to hear. It's what you all want to hear, even if you don't know you want to hear it, and even if you don't think you wanted to hear it after you hear it. This is what you all want to hear. Each person along the way, that magic that you were talking about, that magic 4 days, as those things are unfolding, no one of them in and of themselves is meant to be the only thing that ever comes. No one person, no one experience. So there is not a person that you are looking for in that way. Certainly there is a lover that you're looking for, and somebody who understands prosperity, and someone who's on your wavelength, because it is so wonderful to share time with someone who is a vibrational match to the things that you are a vibrational match to. But you're not looking for a person to create your reality. And that's what that experience reminded you. Your logical mind was saying, but wait a minute, on paper this all adds up, but with emotion it doesn't. And so you know without question that that wasn't something that you wanted to proceed with long term, that it was a matching up of something that was important to you. And what was it? All of the things that we just talked about.
Yeah. Well, so then when I have those experiences and I'm so clear in knowing, what's the best way as soon as my mind starts to turn?
The universe gives me what I need when I need it.
Right.
The universe gives me what I need when I need it. And because it's such a steady flow, the universe is never going to give me what I need that is all I will ever need forevermore. There's not one person or one experience or one contract or one thing, because it's not about accomplishing that. It's about the never-ending, always unfolding eternalness of who you are. Mm-hmm. We cut you off. Did we go where you were going?
You did. So then if my mind starts to go in the opposite direction, like I start to worry again.
About what? My mind is worried about?
About anything, about not enough money, about the guy's never going to come, about any of that stuff. About the stuff that previously I'll get in this state, and then all of a sudden I'll creep into worrying that I'll never feel passionate again about my businesses, or something that's silly, but it'll hold me for a period of time.
In the same way that you just heard us, because we felt you feel that. You just heard us when we said there's not ever going to be the one thing that finally clicks into place that makes all the difference. And you said it to us in the best way that it's ever been said by us or by anyone else. It's that magic that just happens when you're there. And so it's by remembering that there is a steady stream of that. Recently, Esther is experiencing something with someone who's unhappy with her about something. And so every now and again, she'll get focused there, and then it makes her unhappy when she thinks about that. And so what she received the inspiration of after meditation one morning is to ask herself what her true momentum is. What is the true momentum of her experience? Am I more often confused, or am I more often feeling clarity? No question. Clarity, she wrote down. And so she wrote confusion, clarity, and drew a big arrow toward clarity. Am I more often happy or worried? No question. Big arrow, happy. Am I in love with life, or am I feeling disillusioned by life? No question. That's where my momentum is. That's how you get out ahead of it. But you don't do that in your moments of discouragement. You do that when you're flying high. It's getting out ahead of it, isn't it? Well, that's easy for us to say, because when you're in the middle of something that you're not out ahead of it, that's when you feel like you need to do something about it. But that's when you're doing it from here rather than from here. In religious terms, they said to you, count your blessings. In Abraham terms, we said, focus on the positive aspects. Today we're saying, focus upon the things that are easy to feel the positive aspects about, and feel how fast the momentum comes to you. And realize that there were times that you'd get down in the dumps about something in the past, and you'd stay there and 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 stay there. And that never happens anymore. It's always just a brief reaction to something. And we're not ever going to tell you that it's inappropriate for you to react to things. It's normal that you would. But the more you get out ahead of it, the less you'll react to things, you see. Everything you want is flowing to you. But we want to put it in an even better way for you. The most glorious, joyous journey lies out ahead of you on your way to the never-ending things that you're going to decide that you want. Never ending. It's never ending. Our emphasis, and you know it because you've been listening to us for a while, is on the joyous journey, not the destination. The destination will always disappoint you.
Yes, yeah.
If you ask it to be the end all, because it can't be, and your inner being knows it isn't. It was just one of the things that unfolded along the way, along the way, along the way, along the way, along the way. And so what is it that you are creating? Oh, this is really good. Are you creating companies? Yeah, you are. Are you creating relationships? Yeah, you are. Are you creating money? Yeah, you are. Lots of it. But what is it that you're creating? Happiness. That's what the project is. Enough?
Thank you so much.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Very good.